What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Today we're playing Zoyowa Lava-Tongue in Historic Brawl. This is a 2-mana Rakdos commander, 2/2 Goblin Warlock with Death Touch. At the beginning of your end step, if you descended this turn, descended means a permanent went into your graveyard, not including tokens, which I think is kind of interesting. It has to be a card. If you read the clause up there, you descend each time a permanent card is put into your graveyard. Technically, tokens aren't cards. Learned that with this new mechanic. Did not know that. Each opponent may discard a card or sacrifice a permanent. Zoyowa Lava-Tongue deals 3 damage to each opponent who didn't. Now, obviously, we're not playing Commander, we're playing Historic Brawl, so the each opponent clause doesn't matter. This is only going to affect our one opponent. But essentially, this card allows us to go in a couple different directions. And this deck focuses on the damage clause. So we have, it's basically Rakdos aggro. You can see our mana curve is extremely low. It's a lot of 1-mana creatures, 2-mana creatures, and support for those creatures. So what we're trying to do is go wide, get the opponent low on life. You know, a lot of Historic Brawl decks take until turn 3, 4, 5 to get the engine going. We're hoping to have them really low on life at that point. Get Zoyowa down, and every time we descend on our end step, they have to choose whether to discard a card, sacrifice a permanent, or take 3 damage. And so they're not going to want to take 3 damage, and so they're going to start discarding cards and sacrificing their own permanents, which is obviously going to set them back even further, and we're just going to continue to pound them from there. So we're trying to get under our opponent's decks with our low mana curve and force them to make hard choices with Zoyowa's claws. Some notable cards in the deck, I highlighted Embercleave before. If you weren't around during Eldraine Standard, this card is really good and can be flashed out. It's an equipment that can be flashed out and gives the creature it's attached to double strike and trample and +1/+1. It's kind of busted. Torbrand gives all of our damage, both combat damage and non-combat damage, an additional +2. So not only do our creatures get buffed, but our Lightning Bolt and effects like Lightning Bolt get buffed, which we have a handful of these in the deck just to finish off our opponents if our creatures can't get through. Kroxa, one of my favorite Rakdos cards. Perfect in this deck because it makes our opponents lose life and discard cards. So ideally, you know, we can get them to a point where they have no choice but to start sacrificing permanents because they have no cards left, or they don't want to get rid of the cards they have in their hand, and so they start sacrificing their own stuff. That's pretty much it. It's all kind of cards like that. You know, Gix to draw more cards when we attack. Rankle is a flying haster. This one's kind of interesting. The final clause here. So this destroys all non-legendary creatures, which would seem like a bad idea in our creature deck, but Chapter 3 says each opponent loses 1 life for each creature card in that player's graveyard. So against a creature-heavy deck, this might be a good wipe against them, and we would keep our commander because it's a legendary. And then on Chapter 3, all the creatures in the graveyard would do damage to them, so this can be a finisher. But anyway, let's see if we can actually get some wins with this deck in the queue. I don't know if we can, but I'm going to try. I made a mid-range version of this deck, and it did not do well. So I'm hoping this version does better. If you like this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe. The channel's been growing at a really great rate over the last month or so. We're almost to 150 subscribers, so appreciate any support. Okay, well this will be a real test, but one that might confirm our strategy, because Etali takes a while to come out. They usually can't get it out until like turn 4 at the earliest, but that's best case scenario, so if we're looking really at 5-6, turn 5-6. This is a great card. We don't have any black mana though, so unfortunately we have to mull. This is better. We get to go first. I think we keep. Dark Ritual, huh? Dark Ritual. We have a double black card in our hand, that's why I'm doing it like this. We could do this and then apply more pressure. But we don't have any other lands. So I think we just attack and pass. It's not really what I wanted to do, but I don't want to waste this. Resolve. Ember Cleave. So if I use this, I can get both down Aetherborn and Zoyowa, huh? I believe so. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they can play. They can play their commander next turn. We don't have double red for Ember Cleave, which is a bummer. Thankfully, Etali is not really good against our deck. Like, they might just kind of whiff. We'll see. They're going to slam Etali. What did they get? Oh, that's pretty good. And, yeah, I mean, they got one of our better creatures, so... But we have removal. We can't cast it yet, but we do have removal. It fights target creature you don't control. It says trample. No blocks. If we could get some mana, that'd be super cool. I don't think we have any choice, because I think they can transform Etali and turn into the 11/11 trample indestructible. Infect. Resolve. They might not want to attach. We have 2 Death Touchers. I mean, they have trample, but They're going to attack with the trample creature. Okay. So we gain 2 life back. Deck will just not give us land. I think they're trying to go for the infect win, which I think they're gonna get. I mean, we literally can't play any of our stuff in our hand, even though most of it's 3 drops. We just didn't draw any land the entire game. Kinda crazy. Not surprising for Arena though. Yep, they're gonna transform it. And I think they win. Yep, that's fine. We'll just concede. So if you don't know what was gonna happen, they were gonna trample over us with their 11/11. And it has infect, so they were gonna do... I think we only had like 4 toughness on the boards. They were gonna do 7 infect, which would have put us at 11 poison, so we would have just died on the spot. Real bummer there we didn't draw any lands. I think we would have been in a really good spot if we had drawn at least 1 land. But what are you gonna do? Nicol Bolas, okay. Cool deck. 3 mountains. I mean, we have Ragavan, so that gives us... That does give us, black mana if we get to connect. I guess we gotta take that chance. Okay, well, there you go. Okay. We have no non-creatures, so they just whiffed incredibly hard right there. Ooh, Valky. We can't cast it, but it's a good card to exile. They can counter this if they want. Nope. Maybe they have a removal spell. Okay. Create a creature. Okay. I'm not sure what to do. Wish we had more mana because we could get rid of this and Plaguecrafter.
I sense your fear.
They're gonna block. Yep. 2 lands is fine with me. This is a tough matchup. Yep. I could feel the board wipe.
All your fears are given form.
That's really all we can do.
Terror lurks among us.
Counter spell. Removal spell. So they get to ultimate this next turn. Okay, so they're not gonna though, because it doesn't really do anything for them.
Creeping, thieving progeny. Pacify yourself.
Okay, he took the 3 damage, makes sense. Their life total is pretty high right now. They're gonna keep creating tokens, which is annoying. They're gonna attack, exile 2 more spells. Okay. No blocks. Double Bolas. And we're out. We're not gonna win that game. Well, so far this version is not doing well. Definitely rough luck with the first game, though. Not drawing any lands. I think we would have been in an okay spot. That game, it's tough against Grixis. They have a lot of answers against what we're trying to do. Elvish Norn. Mono White. Wait, which Elvish Norn? That's pretty good against our deck. So we'll have to get rid of that. What is it, a 4/4? 3/5. Okay, we'll try. This is also a land. Shouldn't forget about that. This is a land as well. I think this one is just so far away that we should just play it now. Okay, they're trying to ramp to their commander. So now they have to choose take damage or sack a permanent or... Hey, we actually won! Probably because they didn't have another land. But still, we'll take it. We'll take it. I'm kind of surprised they... I mean, it's mono white. Usually mono white has a bunch of little creatures. They must have... It must be like a mono white control deck? Like big white? Because they put that Cold Steel Heart down on turn 2, like they were ramping into some big stuff. I just assumed they were ramping into their commander, but yeah, if they had a handful of big spells and no mana, then I get why they scooped it up. Raph is a Azorius Flash deck. So we're just gonna have to do our thing. One creature. Well, this is a 3/3, right? Yep. So this works. I mean, we have a lot of good removal. We'll try it. See that they have a counter. Try to get it out on their turn. Well, it's a land. I guess we can't really turn down lands, huh? Yeah. Doesn't feel like there's any stick there. Oh, maybe there is. Sure. If that's how you want to use your counter, that's fine with me. Definitely don't want them getting control of it. So they're gonna flash out Wrath. I mean, that's the whole thing. Ooh, okay. Let's pretend like we don't understand what they're gonna do. They're going to flash out Wrath. Resolve. Pretty good.
I'm known for my excellent timing. You know what? I'm not done.
It's also unprotected, though. So definitely give them something to counter.
Enough. Keep up the pace.
Okay, looks like they don't have a land. Or they do. Oh, okay. So I guess they could flash out their commander still. It's probably their plan. Well, let's make them do it.
I won't let you win. You know what? I'm not done.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's pretty good. Man, if we had this. Damn. Okay. It's good for them. This is a really bad draw now. Well, I think this game's out of hand now. I mean, they got a Teferi. They got a bunch of mana. We have no board. Yep. We were doing good for a minute there, but yeah. I'm not gonna beat a Teferi and an Azorius deck with a full grip. Just ain't gonna happen. It's the mutate deck? Yeah. Okay. Sure. One. Okay. No land drop? Opponent? You kept a 1-land hand? Okay. What is this? Protection from multicolored. But not from monocolored. Yeah.
I'm the new boss around here. Join me. Ha! Shake down the locals.
Yeah. Protection from multicolor, not monocolored. Yep.
Go ahead. Plead for mercy.
Opponent's thinking about it. I mean, they are in top deck mode. So, unless they have like some kind of draw spell with this blue, they're in rough shape. Okay. They could cast their commander. It's a flying first striker. But I don't think that's what they want to do. I think they want to mutate it onto other stuff. Double strike. Okay, it's also an equipment. Portable hole. If we attack, it can kill it. Because it has double strike. Let's draw a card. Cool.
Defy me, and you'll lose everything.
I'm gonna attack because I don't think they want to block. Yep. They could sack the portable hole. That would be the smart decision. Or just take 3 to the face. That's fine. The portable hole has nothing underneath it, so it's a free thing to sacrifice. Maybe they're holding on to it in case they get low on life, and they can do that as a last-ditch measure. If they mutate onto this, we can just kill it with Price of Fame. Okay. Okay. Interesting. They might try to attack. So we'll scam them. Decline because we want the trigger. Now it's a 3/3 Death Toucher. My turn. Shouldered. Would you like to lose some more life?
Your punishment is my entertainment.
We still have 2 mana open for Price of Fame if they drop that down. Seems like they're like an artifact deck, kind of strange. That triggers my Zoyowa. Yep, okay, they realize that. Shouldered the clock. We still have 23 life. And we're going to keep gaining with Shieldred as long as it stays on the battlefield. Tezzeret. Okay. Draw 2, discard 2.
Many consider my tactics cruel, but I
No.
get results. I can
Discard an
practically
artifact.
taste success already.
However, those are Shieldred triggers. Just FYI. So we have lethal next turn. Probably don't want to attack with that. Let's just do the thing.
Go ahead. Plead for mercy.
Okay. GG. Alright, well that was... I think this was the best game that exemplified how Zoyowa can be a clock. Now, of course, in combination with Shieldred, you know, it really sped up the clock, but we also had another hasty creature. We had, you know, Ob Nixilis draining them every turn. And I do find that, like, with Ob Nixilis, they will always choose the 2 life option until they start to get low on life, and then they kind of go like, oh shit, I should probably start discarding cards. So all of these kind of synergize together to put them in this spot where they're really low on life, and then all of a sudden, before they realize they were attacking for lethal. Even if they had 9 life here, it would be lethal, because we'd hit for 7, and then on their upkeep they'd draw and die because of Shieldred. So that's kind of how the deck works. Is it the strongest deck? No, it's not. Is it fun? Yeah, I think it's fun. So if you like it, give it a try. We'll do a deck review. So as I just kind of mentioned, this is not the strongest commander. I mean, it's an uncommon, you know, how strong can an uncommon be? But it is a fun mechanic to build around. You could kind of go 3 different directions with Zoyowa. You could go this direction, which is like the aggro strategy, and try to focus on the damage clause. You could build a mid-range deck that kind of like uses all 3 to try to, like, you know, get out wins. I will say I tried to build a mid-range deck of this and it completely failed. I lost every single game. So that could have just been the way I built it, but I didn't find a lot of success with that strategy. It took too long, right? Because it was a mid-range deck, so it's trying to win in the middle of the game, but by then historic Brawl decks kind of pop off, and the opponents would always have like way too much stuff to overcome. And then I think the third way you could build the deck, which maybe I'll try to do another version of this deck, is a discard deck. So you could build Zoyowa with all the discard creatures that ETB and make the opponent discard a card, a bunch of discard effects, Liliana, things like that, so that they have no cards to discard, and so they're forced to sacrifice permanents or take damage. So it's the same kind of strategy, just inverts it. So you force them into taking damage and sacrificing permanents instead of what this deck does, which is forcing them into discarding cards or sacrificing permanents. You see what I mean? So I think that's another way that you could build this deck. That one could be really interesting because hand hate is really effective against any deck. You know, some decks... how do I put this? In Magic the Gathering, every deck has a strength and a weakness, right? But every deck is susceptible to hand hate because obviously getting rid of all the cards in your opponent's hand, they can't play the game. They're in top deck mode. They're just depending on what they get off the top of their deck. So if you can build a deck around discard where like every effect in the deck makes your opponent discard, and then you have this creature which says, oh, well, not only do you have no cards to discard anymore, but now you also have to sack a permanent or take 3 damage. That could be a really interesting bind to put the opponent in. So I might come back to this deck and try that version. That's definitely more up my my alley in terms of that kind of strategy. But this deck was really fun. I just think it is what it is. Maybe some of these cards can be changed out for better ones. I'm not sure what those better ones would be, but maybe they're out there. Maybe I just didn't think of something. But you know, leave a comment if you think I missed a really important card that would help the synergy of this deck work better. We had like I don't think it was exactly a 50% win rate, but like I think if we had enough time to play 50 games, I think we would probably be close to a 50% win rate, maybe under that. I don't know. But you know, this deck isn't gonna like win you a ton of games, but if this is your cup of tea and this kind of, you know, cheap commander, you know, you don't have to spend a rare wild card on it, seems fun to you, then yeah, this, you know, go ahead and try it out. As I've said before many times, Rakdos is my favorite guild, so I'm always down to play some Rakdos. I do think this is a cool card design, and I think in Commander, this is probably a better card. It's tough in Historic Brawl because you're playing 1v1 and the decks are really sweaty, right? But I think in Commander, there's a little bit more leeway for this to stay on the battlefield, and there's more of a card pool for you to build a more synergistic deck to really eke out all the value of this card. So I think, you know, this might be a better commander than it is a Historic Brawl commander, if that makes sense. That's true for a lot of commanders, honestly. It's just because you're 1v1 in Historic Brawl, you kind of really have to bring it every game. You don't get any leeway to like take your time, right? So yeah, that's the deck. Thanks for watching, really appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, get all the updates on new videos coming out. There's one coming out every day, don't want to miss that. Like the video, leave a comment. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Later.